What is going on, my fellow Entropians? It's CloaknDaggerish here. I just got done installing and looking at the new update 17.0, and I gotta tell you, there are some very, very interesting things in the patch notes, and I feel that you need to know about it. So here, I'm gonna go through the notes here for you, and I'm not gonna read all of them because there's a lot, but there are some definite ones that I really want to highlight for you. So let's jump into this right here. In case you're wondering and you want to come back and read the patch notes in further detail, you can find them on the launcher page for Entropia Universe, or you can go to their website under bulletins here. So this is the patch notes for Entropia Universe 17.0. Came out December 3rd, 2019, which is today. And it says, a major overhaul to the graphics engine of Entropia Universe client is featured in this release. DirectX 11 has been implemented. Please see below for associated changes and features. While many areas and scenes will show major improvement with regards to lighting and realism, some content has not yet been optimized for the new system, particularly planet-partnered content. So a lot of it is going to be with Calypso, and then the other planets will receive this updates as it goes. Upcoming version update will build upon the additions and capabilities introduced in this release. These changes to the graphics engine may cause certain textures, items, and areas to look slightly different, or introduce unexpected graphical issues. Please report any graphic-related issues by submitting a support case under the technical, video, and graphic category. Alright, so here are some of the major changes. I'm not going to go through all of them. We're just going to kind of highlight some of them, skim through it here. The rendering API now uses Microsoft DirectX 11, which requires Windows Vista or later. So if you're still playing on Windows XP, you're going to have to update. It's time now to take care of that. So if you're on Windows XP, you can no longer play Entropia Universe. You got to update to Vista or newer. Physically based rendering is now used throughout Entropia Universe. Physically accurate fall off from light sources, gamma correct output. Let's see here. Full screen mode is now always Windows full screen. Oh, here's the one I wanted to point out. A new VR action has been added to the action library, which launches virtual reality for the Oculus Rift. Note that this system is still experimental and not fully supported. This is huge. I know I've had short conversations with Julian McBain. I know he's really into the VR thing, and I am too. I think it would be very, very cool if this eventually became a full-on VR game. Now, I realize that would probably limit a lot of the players that could play it, but the fact that they're making it an option that you can play this game in VR is really, really cool. And part of the premise of Entropia Universe is it was supposed to be a virtual reality where you became almost like Sword Art Online. But at the time when this game came out, virtual reality had a much more different meaning. It was more so of like an MMO reality where your avatar represented you and not so much you being in the game. That technology was just starting to be really conceived at that point in time. So the definition of VR has changed in the last 10, 15 years. But now that it seems like they're shifting their focus to the updated version of VR, which is really, really cool, going into that more full dive experience where you're actually inside the video game. This is very, very exciting. I hope they keep experimenting and playing around with this. I hope that someday in the future that I can get a VR headset and play Entropia Universe in VR and share that with you, because I think that'd be really, really, really cool. So with that, let's keep moving on here. To avoid any issues, the graphic settings are reset to default during the update. Make sure to select your preferred settings after logging in. So if you log in, it looks kind of funky. It's because they reset them all to basics. So if you have a high-end machine and you were running it on high like I was, you gotta switch that back to where it was. All right, some of the new features. We're not gonna go through all of these, but from what I got from it, they made a huge update to the enhancers and the crafting behind them and how they work. And this hopefully will have a major impact on not only the crafting community, but the economy as a whole, which would affect all of us as in the player base. I am super happy with this. I kind of skimmed ahead. I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself, but I want to point out that they're rebalancing the game a little bit, and this is good because this is a very tricky game because they're using real money. It's a real cash economy. They have to be very, very careful when they rebalance the game so that they don't break it, because if they break it, bad stuff happens and people will be very, very upset because it's actual money. Some people have thousands of dollars invested into this game, so they have to be very, very careful when they make tweaks. But when they do, and they do stuff like this, and they try to improve the economy, this is fantastic. It might not be the immediate changes that we want, but it's a step in the right direction, and this could really, really help the game and make it a little bit easier for you and me to profit, and hopefully attract new players and help them to stay around longer with a better economy. If you look at the market for a lot of stuff, almost every item in the game, at least as far as like a consumable, your stackables, 10 years ago, a lot of those values were much, much higher. And as the game has changed and evolved and the balance had shifted, those items have depreciated in value. And what I believe they're trying to do here now is to boost the value of those items, to get people crafting again and to kind of revitalize the economy of the game, because that something has really, really changed and not necessarily for the better. And granted, the game's still doing good. It's not like the economy has crashed completely, but they need to turn it around so that they can keep more players and keep people from leaving the game. So let's look at what they've changed. And this is all about enhancers for the most part. Hey, just real quickly, guys, I want to say don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my future Entropia Universe content. My next Entropia Universe content is going to be talking specifically about crafting for new players, and I'm going to be talking more about these enhancers. So if you don't want to miss out on that video or any of my other Entropia Universe videos and my other gaming content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, please. Thank you very much. Enhancers inserted into limited items will now break much less often. If you're not familiar with enhancers are these like little discs that you put on your guns or your mining amps and a couple other items, and they break randomly. They don't have a fixed decay like a mining amp or a weapon amp. They just break randomly. So a lot of people don't like the way they work, and they're trying to make them better so they're more user friendly and potentially cheaper to use, and to encourage people to use enhancers. All right, let's keep going here. 100% of the trade terminal value of enhancers is now returned in the form of shrapnel when an enhancer breaks. That's really, really cool. So when you use enhancers now, when they break, the only thing you're losing is the markup. Granted, they do have a fairly significant amount of markup, but at least you're getting something back when they break. I mean, when your limited amps break, they're gone. Granted, you know when they're going to break and how much use you're going to get out of them. With the enhancers here, you might get 10 uses, you might get 50 uses out of them. You know, it's kind of that it's kind of random. So they're making it much more financially viable. Increasing the tier level in item during the tier upgrade process is no longer dependent on the tier upgrader profession. All tiering attempts will now automatically succeed. So what they're talking about here is with unlimited items, to unlock the different tiers, I believe there's 9 tiers, you have to attempt to upgrade them. So you put certain items into it, and then it's kind of like crafting, and there's a chance that you'll unlock that tier, or there's a chance that will fail. So essentially they're getting rid of the tiering profession, which unfortunately when they rebalance the game and make changes like this, somebody's toes are going to get stepped on, unfortunately, and that's just inevitable. But overall, it's going to be better for the game, and hopefully those people who get their toe step on and lose money, who invested into these professions that they're essentially killing off, will be able to make that money up later. So the tiering profession is now gone. It's an automatic success when you try to tier an item, which is awesome, because that's going to encourage people to use the enhancers, because everybody's going to have those slots unlocked on their items. Let's keep going here. 100% of the trade terminal value of the ingredients required to increase the tier level of an item is now always returned in the form of shrapnel. None of the required ingredients are returned. This confuses me a little bit, because one, it would fail is when you would get the ingredients back, and now you're getting it back in form of shrapnel. I'm not 100% sure what they mean on this one. I don't even want to guess at it and give you wrong information, so I'm just going to kind of let that one be. If anybody knows what this means, please let me know down in the comments. I'm not an expert in tiering. I've only tiered an item like once or twice just to do it, so I'm not 100% sure on everything in here. I got a really good general idea on this, but I don't know everything. I don't know everything about the game. I know a lot, but not everything. So like I said, if you know what they mean by that, let me know down in the comments, please. Second decimal point has been added, so instead of 3.9, it'll be 3.99. Okay. It is no longer necessary to drag items from the inventory. A lot of this is kind of not that important. You can tier items from storage. Oh, this was kind of important. Destructible environmental items now provide loot in the form of shrapnel. Destructible explosive items that cause damage to nearby creatures transfer their loot to the damaged creatures. This is kind of interesting. I don't know if they're trying to encourage more explosive weapon hunting, but it sounds like the loot will be spread out amongst the different creatures when you're hunting with that. Could be interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to play out. We'll have to keep an eye on that. The current trade terminal value of attachments is now displayed in the base items tool info. Oh, it is now possible to protect equipable items and attachments, preventing them from being traded, dropped, placed on auction, exchanged with NPCs, or sold to the trade terminal. To protect an item, toggle the protect the item icon in the item panel, and it'll protect it, and I'll have it on stats bar. So that's kind of neat. So if you have say you get a bunch of junk guns that you looted, and you have your good gun, you can protect it, highlight them all, and then sell your junk guns without accidentally selling, a gun that maybe you spent $600 on. I really like this one. It is now possible to attach and remove attachments and enhancers to and from items without unequipping the base item. It is so annoying when you're hunting or mining and your amp breaks and you can't shoot your gun, and the gun's not broken, but the amp is, and then to change the amp out, you got to unequip the gun, unequip the finder. Not so much with the mining, it's not a big deal, but when you're hunting and then you got to swap it, it was so annoying. It was a little pet peeve of mine. I'm so glad they changed it. Thank God. Let's see here. Oh, they made some changes to the exchange share center. It says added buy orders to the Entropia Exchange. Previously share center. Buy orders always match the lowest available price first. Buy orders will match older sell orders first if there are multiple sell orders with the same price. Buy orders can match qualifying sell orders regardless of remaining sell order quantity, not quality. Added a market history graph to the Entropia Exchange. Added a transaction tab to the Entropia Exchange. Holding view, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so basically, to summarize all that, they're making the Entropia Exchange, or the share center, much more similar to the auction house. You can now place buy orders for shares or exchanges or whatever they're calling them now. Just like you could on the auction house, you can say, I want to buy X amount of items at X amount of price, and when they become available, or if there's multiple available, it will buy the oldest ones at that price first, and then up until whatever you set that quantity at such a price. So that's pretty nice. They're adding graphs for the prices of the shares, so you can see how the prices have changed over time, just like all your other items in game. When you look at the market value, you can see the graphs of how they changed. You can now do that with your new within the share center, and then they added a new tab for that. That is all the new stuff with the enhancers and with some other creature comforts in the menus and stuff, trying to make our lives a little bit easier. All right, so we're gonna kind of quick go through this. Share center, the share center has been renamed to the Entropia Exchange and is available through the PED card as before. Global and Hall of Fame loots no longer displayed decimals. I'm not sure if that's in the little window that you get, or if they're talking about the big action book, or both. Either way, whatever, not a big deal. Toggle private messages, main chat. Smoke trails has been removed from spaceships. Big deal. Oh, this was another interesting thing I found in here. Creatures killed by automated turrets, drowned, or despawned by the system will return loot in the form of shrapnel when appropriate. What does this mean? How does this affect us? Well, what I think they mean, don't quote me on this, I'm not 100% sure because they didn't really specify. They just say when appropriate. So what I think this means is when, say you're hunting near an outpost and you're shooting the mob and you're backing up because you don't want it to hit you, and you accidentally get too close to the gun turret and it finishes it off. Before, you wouldn't get any loot if the gun turret killed that mob. I think what they mean now is they will give you a percentage. They're probably not going to give you all the loot, but they're going to give you a percentage of the loot from that turret kill. And I'm guessing it's going to work similar to like a group hunt. So when you group hunt, you get a percentage of the loot based on your damage that you did to it. I think it's going to kind of do the same thing. So if you do 90% of the kill, you're going to get 90% of the loot, and you're just going to lose that 10% that the turret took. So you can't, do 0 damage and pull a mob into a turret and expect to get the loot out of it. They're not going to let you cheat that way or exploit them. But if you're going to get back what they accidentally stole from you, so to speak, or accidentally, I guess stole would be the best word. They're not trying to rob you, they're just trying to prevent people from exploiting the game. But this is a very nice compromise. It's going to keep the game balanced. People I don't think should be able to exploit this. But when it does accidentally happen to you, it's happened to me a number of times, and it's very irritating when it does happen because you don't always know the range of those turrets, drowning and stuff. But the turrets is the big thing. Is you don't always know the range on them, and sometimes they shoot your kill, and it's kind of annoying. So then you got to move farther away from them. But yeah, great compromise. This is, I feel, going to be a great change. I think a lot of people are going to be very pleased with it. Let's see here. It is now possible to deal and receive damage of values less than 1. Okay. Neat, I guess. They added some visual and sound effects to the codex when ranking up. Display for the global events list. A lot of this is just like little visual things. Tier upgrade skills are no longer gained when increasing the tier level because they got rid of that profession altogether. All right. The arrival safe animation has been removed. Okay, so this is all the changes, and I read the most important ones, at least that I felt were most important. If you want to go through and read it in more detail, by all means, go to the website, entropiauniverse.com/bulletins/release/ or dash notes. They have, let's see here. They fixed a couple issues that have been found, probably by players. most of them weren't too major other than, let me find it here. Maybe it was in the known. Yeah, these aren't real major. Under known issues, there was one or two that were kind of big. Most of them were just like the polished chrome texture does not display correctly. Big deal. Oh, this is the one I was looking for. The last one. Codex rewards cannot be claimed, but progress is not lost. This is a known issue. They're working on it. So just be patient with those rewards. You know, I haven't noticed it yet. I haven't played it since the update, though. I logged in just to kind of check it out, but I haven't played. I haven't progressed my codex at all. So I don't know if this affects everybody with every codex item, or if it's just a couple people and a couple different codex rewards, but just be patient. They're working on it. There's probably going to be a few more patches in the next couple days, in the next couple weeks here to kind of clean up some of these minor issues. Most of them aren't too big. I could see a lot of people getting upset about this. Just, you know, be patient. Mindark is working on it, and they will get it taken care of, hopefully sooner than later. And that's going to do it for this update. I am so glad that you watched all the way to the end. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my future content. My next Entropia Universe video is going to be a crafting video. I'm going to talk about how to get started in the crafting profession, and I'm going to teach you how to do it as cheap as possible and how to get into it without spending thousands of ped. Granted, this isn't going to be for brand new players. It's going to be directed at more of you intermediate players. Be sure to check it out. Like this video. Any questions, comments, or concerns about this video, my channel, or any of my other videos, let me know down in the comments below. I read all the comments and I respond to all the comments. So be sure to drop them down there if you want an answer to your questions. I'll do my best to answer them. And until next time, guys, you have a good one.